Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics on Random. Host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show today. You know why? We have got activists in the house. I got to get the program started, but since they're here, I just want you to hear their voices. So, Rufi, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well, thank you.
And Senor Cotter, how are you doing?
Doing great, thank you so much.
Hey, folks, we are going to have a great show for you today because you know what? We are trying to win this thing big win. What year is it that we're going to try to win it? 2020, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to kick some butt in 2020. But to do that, we need to let people know what's going on. We need to make sure that folks understand that they have to go out there and do what again? What do they have to do? Vote. Everybody got to go vote. Anyway, before I get started, our friend is back from, let me see, when was the last time I saw her?
It was like 2 weeks ago, maybe.
Lupita, where have you been?
I was out of town. I was in Atlanta visiting my mom.
Oh, my God. Well, I hope all's well with your mom.
Holiday craze is over.
Yes, but you were definitely missed. You were definitely
I appreciate
missed.
That. I'm going to be actually taking over Juan's show next week since he's going to be out of town. So I was like, okay, I'll make up for the times that I've missed, and I'm doing the whole show by myself.
Hey, but you know what? I'm going to want to hear at least a couple of words in Spanish. We're going to be playing some salsa
Okay,
now.
Definitely.
I'm going to be listening.
Okay.
I'm going to be listening. Okay, folks, title of the show today is Activists Intent on Winning Texas Senate and House Races. And then, of course, I have a Christmas healthcare ordeal. It's a personal one. We may get to it. We'll see. But anyhow, Nisha Randle was supposed to be here. Nisha, if you happen to be listening, I'm even though I know what's the reason, I'm still going to say you stood us up, but that's okay.
But I'm standing in for her.
No. I wanted all three. There's power in numbers, Rufi.
But she's busy doing the good work that's needed so that we can win.
Did you pay her to say that, Nisha?
No, she did not.
Okay, folks. Anyhow, but in studio we have John Cotter and Rufi Natarajan. Did I say that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Representing HCDP, that's the Houston County Democratic Party.
Harris County Democratic.
The Harris County Democratic. What's wrong with
Party.
me?
Yeah, what's
wrong with me?
I don't know.
You know what? If you guys, I'm going to cop any mistakes I make today to the stress in having a show before mine, which is different than before. And I had to set up in how many minutes again, Lupita? 2 minutes? Is that all you gave me to set up, Lupita? 2 minutes?
That's how radio is. It's always on the move. You never know.
Yeah, but wow, I think I was spoiled for over a year.
Yeah.
But anyhow, John Cotter and Rufi Natarajan, representing HCDP and local Democratic groups, detail their upcoming forums. And the second segment, if we have one, will be My Christmas Healthcare Ordeal. But you know what? I don't necessarily want a second segment. I want you guys to call these activists, these folks that are going to make a difference in the community. I want you to call them and ask them some questions. So before I get into the program, I want to say the number is 713-526-5738. Again, that is 713-526-5738. Several area local Democratic groups got together to produce 2 well-organized forums featuring candidates you should learn about. Nisha and John tell us, you see, I wrote this before I came. But anyway, I'm honest. John, tell us all about the genesis of the 2020 Senate Forum of Democratic Texas Senate candidates, and do they intend to make this a habit? Are you guys going to make this a habit?
We'd like to.
Okay, I like that. One hopes so. These local groups are generating a lot of enthusiasm in Harris, Montgomery, and surrounding counties. If you are in the Houston metropolitan area, this is a forum you should not miss. One of these candidates is likely to represent Texas in Washington, D.C., and it is imperative that you know about it. So the event, and I'm going to just say it fast and then we'll have our conversation, but the event is called the 2020 U.S. Senate Candidate Forum, Saturday, January 11, 2020, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Greenhouse International Church, 200 West Greens. I'm just saying this fast because John's going to tell us all about it. But secondly, Rufi Natarajan, representing several local Democratic groups, say, game over on the Sarah Davis experiment. With Davis support on all but a few bills. Man, she's tough. Hills, Texas, Republicans passed many of the nation's most extreme anti-choice laws, gutted public schools, legalized racial profiling. She even voted to for open carry and to allow guns in school. Which House District 134 candidate will represent you? Make an informed decision by attending the HD 134 Forum event. HD 134 Democratic Candidate Primary Forum is what it's called. Date Thursday, January 9th. That is 2 days from today.
That is correct.
6:30 to 8 o'clock. Faith Lutheran Church. So anyhow, I'm not going to talk about the second segment. Let's talk. Rufi.
Yes.
Welcome to Politics Done Right.
Thank you.
Now, tell us first a little bit about District 134. What is it? First of all, I want you to approach it this way. Let's assume that the people that are listening to us right now know very little about politics, know very little about districts, because, you know, we have Senate districts, state districts, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Tell these people, first of all, what is HD 134?
So HD 134 is a House district, which is the Texas House district, which means that Sarah Davis represents the area which has been extremely gerrymandered.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could show you a map, but I think I sent you a map.
Yes.
But I can't show it on the radio. But you can see how gerrymandered it is. And it's a very large House district. So it runs all the way from the medical center and down into like River Oaks and Rice Military, and it goes into Meyerland. And one of the reasons we were able to get so many of the clubs to participate is because all these different clubs fall in the 134
So they're all over Texas and they still fall within.
Yes. All over Houston, and they're part of this. So some of the clubs, and I do want to give them a shout out, that are participating. Of course, this is being sponsored by HCDP, and then we have Bayou Blue Democrats, which I don't think I'm going to cover all the areas, but you can mostly tell by the names. Meyerland Democrats, Bel Air Braeswood Democrats, the Texas Democratic Women's Club, Road Women, Greater Heights Democrats Club, and Swing Left. All of them are participating
in the HD 134.
In the 134. And the reason this is really, really important...
And
yes.
Rufi, let me interrupt you for a second, because we also have a national audience. So I would like you guys to be a template of what other localities can also do, because the work that you're doing here is so... In Harris County has been great in the work that's been done by activists, and this gives the impetus to other localities to do this sort of thing. So when you're talking, please let folks know how you did it, what you're doing.
Okay, so I represent the Harris County Democratic Party, which I think most people know is the third largest county in the country.
Right.
And I am an activist also, and so like I was saying, 134 is really important, because if you look at the demographics of 134, it really should be a blue district.
Right.
But what has happened is Sarah Davis, Representative Sarah Davis, has been in this position for over 15 years. And back in the day, she called herself a moderate Republican. So since there was really the Democrats really did not have anyone that they could go to as far as women's reproductive rights, she supported women's reproductive rights.
Right.
So she became the candidate of choice for organizations like Planned Parenthood, Human Rights Campaign. And I think what has happened is now this district went to Hillary.
Right.
It went to Beto. And it's prime for we can flip this district. So talking on a national level, I think people need to know that currently the Texas House only needs 9 more seats. We need to flip only 9 seats to make the House a Democratic House, and that has been a long time coming. So
now, this district, I mean, first of all, folks, you ought to know that for those of you that are listening all over, Texas has always been thought of as a red state. We have to make it clear that that isn't the case, and that's why our activists are working as hard as they are. Texas is really a state where people don't vote.
It's a non-voting state.
Right.
It's not a red state, and it's not a blue state.
Right.
It's a non-voting
Right.
state.
If people used to vote in Texas based on the not only the demographics of Texas, when I say demographics, I'm talking about the needs of people, I'm talking about the values of people, this would be a much more progressive state than one would believe. Anything else you want to add about tell us a little bit. First of all, we want to say several times because people come to radio and leave, come and leave, come and leave. Mm-hmm. So tell them again, time, place, everything.
Yes. So the House District 134 Candidate Forum is being held on Thursday, January 9th at 6:30 p.m. at the Faith Lutheran Church, which is located at 4600 Bel Air Boulevard. We say we're starting at 6:30, but we'd love for folks to come early. Mm-hmm. We're going to have all kinds of refreshments, and we want people to be able to network, and that's very important for activists to do, is to network. And we have in this race, we have some very strong candidates. There are 3 candidates in the race, mm-hmm. and 2 of them are women, mm-hmm. and 1 is a gentleman. And any one of those would be far better on what they can do for Texas, for 134, than what Sarah Davis has done.
Now I want to say something to everybody, because this is, why I love that Rufi's here is because a lot of times we concentrate on only what John's doing. John is working on a race that has, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, John. John is working on a national race, right? This is somebody that's going to be heading to Washington, D.C., and everybody sees the president and everybody's, but you hear Rufi talk about gerrymandered place. That gerrymandering that allows us to have a misrepresentation in Congress in D.C. is caused because of the local elected officials, mm-hmm. or I should say the state elected officials that we have. What our activists are doing right now is they're ensuring that what we are going to do going forward is work on these state elections so that we can win them, and when we win them, we can then redistrict in such a manner that it's done fairly. We're not going to do the same thing.
No. I don't know if people are aware. I'm sure some people are aware of this, but 2021 is when redistricting takes place.
Yes.
So the key is to win these 9 seats so the Democrats can actually fix some of the issues that have been, it's not some of, there are a whole bunch of issues that have been created by the redistricting that has taken place. And what I am really excited about mm-hmm. is that people like Beto, who have now taken up the cause of
He's going to be in town this weekend,
He was also in town on Saturday, I believe, and he's coming back again. He's hosting all these block walks for special elections, but he has a national appeal, mm-hmm. and for him to have taken this issue as the most, he was on, I was listening to an interview with him this morning on NPR, mm-hmm. and he talks about this is like the most important thing that needs to happen in Texas right now, because this impacts, some people say all politics is local.
Yes,
you have to remember that, because if you keep focusing on the national level, then you really cannot bring change locally. So I'm a firm believer in be the change you want to see.
I love that. I love that. Well, John, you are working on one of the big ones too here. And actually last night, I was so impressed with the venue that you guys put together. Tell us a little bit about what you're having. First of all, tell us a little about when, where, the place, and what is it that's going on.
we're having a 2020 Democratic Senate Candidate Forum. It's taking place at the Greenhouse International Church on 200 Greens Road this Saturday on the 11th. And these are so the voters can come out and see the candidates running on the Democratic ballot to unseat John Cornyn.
Now, do you have a whole lot of... I know we were blessed to have several senatorial candidates come in. Do you have all of them come in? Do you have a list of who's going to be there, or...
Well, right now, there's 12 total candidates running. And
it's 12 now?
It's 12.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
And we have 8 of the 12 confirmed.
Wow.
Yes. And it's a vast cross-section of the people from Texas. There's somebody from all over the state with a lot of experience, really great qualified people.
Yeah, now it turns out that yesterday, doing the walkthrough of the place, you actually got a pretty big venue.
It's a really big venue. So we want a lot of people to come out and meet these candidates.
So tell them where they need to come and what time, all that good stuff.
All right. It's at the Greenhouse International Church. That's at 200 Greens Road. It's just off of I-45, north of the Beltway here in Houston. It's Saturday the 11th at 2 p.m.
That's this Saturday, right?
This Saturday, yes.
Yeah.
It's at 2 p.m. We're having a meet and greet where the candidates can shake hands, take pictures, one-on-one with all of the voters.
So you hear that, folks? You get all these perks now.
That's right. Then you come out at 2 o'clock. Then at 3 o'clock, the official forum starts, and it'll be moderated by 2 moderators with the candidates taking questions that have been prepared, and moderators will ask. And then at 4:30, it'll be a Q&A with questions from the audience.
Now, I understand, and I hope I'm not spilling the beans or whatever, but I understand that there are going to be like some dessert stuff or sweet stuff there, because...
Well, that's the understanding. There's going to be some drinks and some cookies and dessert, and so you know, a little perk on getting to meet the candidates and some goodies.
You know, I may have to eat me some of all. You know, I have a sweet tooth like no other. You know,
we'll save some cookies for you.
Yeah, save some cookies. I'll be there. But folks, so look, again, you guys these are 2 important events occurring this week. First, we have Rufi's event that is.
It's the House District 134 Forum, which is on Thursday. And by the way, we are also going to have lots to eat and drink at our event. Lots of sweet stuff there, too. So I hope you will.
I'm going to be there, too. I'm going to live stream both of them.
All
are you
kidding
me?
Wonderful.
Hey, but wait. You notice how I started this little, we have it, we too, not only you can do sweet stuff, we can do it at 134, too. You know, hey, say how I know how to start the little kind of skirmishes, you know what I mean? That's what. So but anyway, John. So I mean, right now, you said they're going to be able to go ahead and take some pictures with the candidates that are there, and I think there's something else that's special about that event. Isn't sort of a drive or something like that, food drive or?
That's right. We're asking everybody that comes to see the event to bring a non-perishable food item that will be donated to the Greenhouse Church.
And notice he said non-perishable because I love food, and if it's not perishable, that'll be an excuse for me to
eat it right there.
You know. So I mean, now, how did you come about this event, John? I mean, I'm going to be honest. When I got out there and saw how well organized it was, I was like, you know, how did they come up with this? Because, you know, we just had a previous one with some of them coming out, but this one is on a much larger scale. Tell me about how you put that together, because other people that are listening around the country, one of the problems I find is a lot of people, they sit back and they know that something has to get done, right? Everybody knows that something has to get done. I mean, if you're in New York, you think, oh, I need to get done, but how do I start how do I plant that seed to get something started? How did you guys plant that seed?
Well, the several of the groups in the North Harris County region, Democratic clubs, and I'm just going to give them a shout out right now.
Please do.
That's the Humble Area Democrats, the Spring Democrats, the Democratic Club of the Woodlands, Cy-Fair Democrats, Cy-Tom Democrats, Kingwood Area Democrats, and Stonewall Democrats just joined us to help host this forum. And several of the activists in each one of these groups knew we wanted the voters to be able to have a chance to learn about these candidates.
Right.
And, what a better way than to host a forum. So we decided to pool all the resources of the clubs, because it takes a lot of resources to put on an event.
Actually, I was hearing some numbers of you talk, if we're going to have this person doing this and this person says, okay, wow.
Yeah. And just started, conversation, and it's like, well, I think we can put this on and have the forum. And so the groups got together, and we just started doing conference calls and did a lot of planning that way, and meetings, and it was a bit of a chore to find a venue, because you got to have one that's big enough. So
you found a good one.
We have a fantastic venue.
Hey, folks! Before I forget, you can call in and talk to these activists, or if you want to add some of your own stuff to the show, this show belongs to you all. 713-526-5738. 713-526-5738 is the number. We are taking calls now. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the events, but we're taking calls now. So, Rufi, as far as your event is concerned, you said there are three candidates that you all support, that you don't care.
Well, they're the three Democratic candidates, and of course they're going to all be run in the primary, which I want to also make sure that everyone is aware that it's coming up really, really fast.
When is that?
That is March 3rd. March 3rd is
that is less
primary.
than 2 months.
Yes. Yeah. And the other thing is, it's really important for everyone to be registered to vote. And so
when is the deadline
the last date for voter registration is February 3rd. So if you are not registered, if you've moved, it's really important to go ahead and get that taken care of, which we'll be able to help at the forum if people need help with that.
I think on both forums there you'll have voter registration. 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Any subjects, it's your show. Give us a call, 713-526-5738. Usually when we're covering one of these issues, the phones will be all six of them or lit up. When it comes to, we have to get people as excited about issues as they are about the power that they have to get people elected, because and it comes to this forum, folks. If you're listening here in Houston or in the Houston metropolitan area or anywhere, a lot of it is easy to start talking about, I talk a hell of a lot about Medicare for all. I come and we talk about impeachment, or we talk about all these issues, right? And everybody gets crazy and wild about these issues. And then we sit down and we talk about, we want to talk about people voting or registering or whatever. And folks kind of get a bit quiet on that, not realizing that is so much more important. If you want Medicare for all, guess what you need?
You got to vote.
You got to vote, but you also have to know the candidates that will support that sort of a thing. So, when you have forums like what John and Rufi are having here, representing the Democratic Party or whatever, what they're doing is they're giving you the ability to see what the values of these candidates that are vying for your support. Because you don't want to go ahead and, everybody, we fight about, we want Medicare for all, or we want this, or we want that. Well, which one of the candidates offering that? The only way to know is to go to one of these forums, right? Or you can, read about it. But as we know, there's nothing better. You're going to have a whole lot of moderators that are really going to be asking these guys. You're going to have enough time to ask probing questions.
Yes, that's really what we wanted to do. We can all go on the computer and read their website and see what their talking points are. But until they're up there and get challenged with a question, maybe in a little different way,
right?
You won't know exactly where they stand on an issue.
And that's what I liked about phones ringing. That's what I like about the moderator. The moderator said that the job of a moderator is to make every candidate uncomfortable. When he said that yesterday, I'm like, yeah, then we're gonna have a very good forum. And not only that, but in this forum, by the way, folks, the people are gonna have a chance to ask the candidates questions themselves. Is that correct? So
in our forum, if we have questions that the moderator is going to be asking.
Yeah.
And then, time permitting, we will take questions from
the audience
as well. Ours is not as long as John's is, so we always want audience participation.
Right.
But what we did do is we asked all our clubs to submit questions. So obviously the clubs represent the general population. So I feel like the questions that we have so far are questions that people want to ask. Like, there are some very basic things that need to take place in 134. One of them being guns, because Sarah Davis is such a big proponent of guns. So we've been one of the groups that is extremely active in trying to get her unseated is Moms Demand Action.
That's a good group.
They're going to be there in large numbers. We're also working towards getting Planned Parenthood to understand that, and we hope that they will be at our forum, that it's time for them to look at these candidates as far as, putting their
values online.
That they really should not be looking at Sarah Davis as the person that they would support, but rather one of these candidates, because they have the progressive values and they really care about women's health care.
I am glad you said that, because, in this county, there are times that we have issues like that. We have what I like to call a lot of posers that seem to attract quite a few quote unquote progressives. We had that once with the commissioner, the judge, and I found it quite. I must say that the activists in Houston really did the job that gave us the quality commissioner that we got. Don't you think that making that change was necessary in Mademoiselle Hidalgo, Lina Hidalgo? We're from the same part of the world, so she's originally from Colombia. I'm from Panama, and her country used to be, we were a province of Colombia. So I was, when I see her teaser, and I like, we used to be all Colombians at one time. but anyhow, now as far as you, John, and the Senate, what do you expect out of it when you're done with? And before you answer that,
sure,
folks, 713-526-573, please call and ask these folks something about these elections. We're not. I have a Medicare, a 15-minute piece to play for you on Medicare for All and how it affected me over the Christmas after an event occurred in my house. But I want to get more out of this part, the value out of getting people to understand what's going to be going on this week in Houston, which is two very, very important forums. But anyhow, John, what do you expect to get out of this when it's all over? What are you going to call success?
I think the best thing is the voters turn out and get to meet these people,
right,
and hear what they're about.
And not only that, wouldn't we also want to see that? Hey, guess what? They're excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
If we can see the excitement, what do you expect to get out of it?
Well, our expectation is to be able to educate the people that are actually have the ability to vote in 134, because they're the ones that can unseat Sarah Davis. There's so many misconceptions about what she stands for. So the medical community in Houston supports her because they feel like, that's their best choice. And what we want to do before the primaries is absolutely try and educate every single person that lives in House District 134 about the fact that she is not the person we should be voting for. Because what I saw in 2018 that just broke my heart because I'm a precinct chair, so I did a lot of block walking in my neighborhood. So I would see a sign for Beto. I would see a sign for Todd Litton, and then I would see a sign for Sarah Davis in people's yards. So that's the crossover voting that was taking place.
Yes.
So we don't want that.
Okay, let me see. Is Rose wanting to be? Okay, let me go to line 2. Line 2, you're on. I just say your name because I'm not sure. We don't have it written yet. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, you're on.
Hi, this is Tori.
Hey, Tori, talk to me.
Hey, am I on the air?
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. I guess turn down my radio. My question is about Lizzie Fennell Fletcher. Is anybody running against her?
Lizzie Fletcher?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's she's actually going to have to defend her seat. Off the top of my head, I can't.
I mean, there's a Democrat that's challenging her?
Oh, no. Sorry. She does not have a Democrat challenging her. She's safe in that respect.
I think we need somebody to challenge her, a progressive Democrat, because, like what happened in New York with AOC and that corporate Democrat, Lizzie Fletcher's just a very corporate Democrat. I know that she's in a conservative district and all that, but, she...
Tori, I think the one thing is that it
reached all the way to London. They had an article in the London Guardian about how the DCCC came in and, putting their thumb on the scale, just like they did, back during the last presidential election against
when
Bernie.
She came in against Let me say this. Actually, it's too late for a new Democrat to come into the election now. I mean, maybe you should have challenged her, Tori.
Well, no, I'm not a politician, but I wish somebody else would, because we need progressives to run. Because that's the reason why we have Trump is because the corporatists have taken over the Democratic Party, and they're hardly inspiring anybody outside of and the progressive wing is ascendant, but we need to keep pushing.
You know what I preach,
line.
Tori? You know what I preach? I'm a very progressive person. I'm pretty sure John is, and I'm pretty sure Rufi is as well. But here's the deal that I'm trying to tell all progressives that are out there, right? I want progressives, in my humble opinion, to go out there and win the party. And what I mean by that, right, is I want them to go out. You and I have the same values, Tori. Is that right? Pretty much. We've spoken before.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, we've spoken before. But the one thing I think we have to do is we have to go out there and sell what we believe that's better than what we call the corporate Democrats, right? In other words, if anybody who considers Lizzie Fletcher the corporate Democrat and being the host right now specifically with a representative from the HCDP, I'm not going to put anybody on the spot here, but what I'm saying is this, though.
Well,
but
you work in both sides of the room, like Barto.
Yes.
You're a progressive,
Yes.
but you're also a party guy.
Yes.
And I couldn't give a flip for any political party.
I know.
I wish political parties were outlawed in this country because they're a way to concentrate power, and it's actually,
You should see Rufi's face.
counterproductive to democracy, where, democracy is flattening things out, where every person has an equal vote. Political parties and, banks and corporations and, all these things are schemes to concentrate power, and we need to flatten this out,
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Continue.
I'm done.
Yeah, go ahead. I just had the numbers on my. I just was told that the numbers going over the internet was a bit low, so I think I've got that improved now. Sorry for those guys who've been on the internet that it was low. All right, continue, Tori. Oh, you're gone. Hey, Tori, you don't vacate the thing like that. Anyhow, Rufi, what Tori says though is something that I think a lot of people are seeing in the field. As far as where excitement is coming from, you're out there block walking, right? what kind of excitement are you seeing? And you know, and you do know. Let's make sure that we put it out there because that's how we win. That there are different sort of sub-factions within the party. Where are you seeing excitement when you are out there in the field? And I'm talking about whether you go to older neighborhoods, younger neighborhoods, diverse neighborhoods. What are you seeing?
So obviously, when we block walk, we're targeting Democrats,
right?
Because that's where we get our information for block walking. But I can tell you the thing that everyone is really, really pumped up about and wants to make sure happen is that we defeat Trump. So everyone's on the same page as far as that is concerned.
Yep.
So that's where the excitement is. People are registering. Young people are registering to vote in high numbers. Immigrants that are going to vote for the first time are registering in high numbers. It's a pity that they're slowing the process down for immigrants to be able to register.
How is that?
So it used to take 6 months, like to complete.
Oh, you mean to get your citizenship?
To get your citizenship.
Oh, I got you.
Now they have slowed it down where it's going to be 1 year.
Oh.
And you also have to pay more.
Well, yeah, I heard
filing
70%
yes,
more.
Yes, it's so they don't want people that could hurt the Republican Party to vote.
Right.
So there are all these things that are being done, you know, like taking away the mobile voting locations. Just they're scared.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to see that they're scared.
And they should be scared because we're going to make a difference, right, John?
Yeah.
Absolutely, we're going to make a difference.
Now, John, John is a pilot. He flies all over the place. John, I imagine when you are in all these other countries, because you fly all over the world, what do you see them say about America and where we are right now?
Well, it's interesting because you really see what you see here.
Right.
You see spectrum, both sides. Take the Brexit deal as an example. And when our van driver picks us up, some of them are like
pro-Brexit,
and the others are, we got to leave and that kind of thing. So I can see it's
the polarization.
similar. Yeah, it's very polarized.
Now, do you see that in England, in the UK? Do you also see that when you fly to Germany or?
No, not so much in Germany.
So
they're not a fan of the current administration.
Yeah,
I can't speak for all of them. But.
Well, actually, I went out to dinner with this guy from Germany, and that's exactly what he said. He's like, Merkel isn't really now the person who runs the world because pretty much Donald Trump has usurped. Now, what do you guys think about what's going on with respect to Iran?
Well,
I'm curious.
Nobody thinks that the fellow that was assassinated was a good guy.
Right.
The process, the plan, the long-term outlook, what are the ramifications? I don't think that was a whole lot was paid attention to that from what we can see right now.
It's interesting. I was listening to Tom Hartman today, and he said Donald Trump thought he was he was being tactical, but instead he was being strategic and had no strategy.
Wow.
It's like, wow, that's powerful. What do you think, Rufi?
I think it's very scary. I think it's it sets precedent for other nations, because what I heard on Sunday was Indian politicians. So I'm originally from Pakistan, and so Indian politicians now saying, well, Pakistani generals have blood on their hands, so should we also be able to send out a drone and assassinate those generals? So
you know what is so interesting? That is the same thing that I think I wrote a couple of days ago. It's scary because I think for all practical purposes, what we have is that, yes.
Just had someone call in that you could repeat the addresses of the two events.
I love that. Yes.
Just for those that don't know of your website,
Thank you. Folks that are listening, thank you. That means let's get busy.
Okay, so I'm going to kick it off with the forum that's taking place on Thursday, which is just 2 days away. It's the 134 Candidate Forum, which is at 6:30 p.m. at Faith Lutheran Church, which is at 4600 Bel Air Boulevard. And like I said earlier, please come early. We have lots of refreshments and networking and voter registration and a chance to meet all the candidates.
And John?
And our 2020 Democratic Senate Forum is taking place at the Greenhouse International Church at 200 Greens Road. And the meet and greet with the candidates, shake their hands, ask some questions, take a picture, starts at 2 o'clock. Then at 3 o'clock, the forum will start with Q&A at 4:30 on this Saturday, the 11th.
Excellent. Did you give them the location too, right? The address?
200 Greens.
Yeah.
Greens Road.
Now, Rufi, like I was telling you before, I hope you guys heard that. If you still don't have it or whatever, call again. But by the way, if you go to politicsdoneright.com, it's on the blog for this particular show. So you can actually get the full address of where to go on both events, time, everything is there, plus a link to the Facebook event page of each of these forums. So please, if you go to politicsdoneright.com, we give you a link to both of these events and time. You got all the information you need to know about this particular event. But yeah, Rufi, what I kept on saying is Donald Trump has been setting a whole lot of international precedents that's dangerous, because now I think what he hasn't realized is he has just gave a justification for any one of his Secretary of States to be a target. And so here he is with what he did. If somebody hits one of our people at that level, what are we going to say now? Yeah, we're going to escalate again? Probably so. But as one of my friends says, the decline, that is how, you remember when Ferdinand killed Princeps? That's how World War I started, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, so we have to be careful. We've always said, John, that this guy's a clear and present danger.
Absolutely.
He's a clear and present danger, and he continues to do that. We have these phones kind of going crazy. I don't know, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pick one up. Okay, line 2, come on in. Just say hello and we'll know who you are. Your name. Hello and your name. Okay, let me see. Go ahead, sir.
Yep, I wondered if any of the party people wanted to comment on, I forget the long last name, but there's a guy in Fort Bend County. I know this is Harris County, but Sri Preston, and then a K last name?
Kulkarni.
Yeah, Kulkarni.
Kulkarni.
Yes, Kulkarni. That's right. That's right. I heard him on Hindi language radio, call-in show, and I think the same way some people were inspired by Beto. I never really felt that bug, but or Obama or whatever. He is like a master, not just debater, but kind of taking things to another level of, I'm here to listen to all voices and tell them why.
In other words, you liked him.
This is wrong, and how to move a nation forward at the same time as getting, policy agenda.
Okay, let's let Rufi answer. Let's let Rufi answer. Go ahead, Rufi.
Okay, so Sri Preston Kulkarni comes from the Foreign Service. He resigned when Trump became president. He speaks 5 or 6 languages, so it's really, he's run a campaign with he appeals to the Asian American Pacific Islander community, and since a large part of his District 22 falls in Brazoria, Fort Bend, and a little bit of Harris, he does appeal to that population in a big way. He ran last time and came fairly close to beat Pete Olson, and now it's an uncontested seat on the Republican side, but it's there's a whole slew of people running both on the Democratic side and the Republican side. Pierce Bush just joined in.
Oh, really?
Yes. I
didn't know he lived in that district.
No, he has just moved there. So you can tell that the Republicans are afraid. So to answer your question, I think the best thing you can do if you're so impressed by him is get people to come out and vote. Talk to all your friends, all your neighbors. Go volunteer for him. Do whatever is necessary to get people to vote.
Now, Rufi, you said that Pierce moved in here, but it's too late for him to register.
No, he did it right before. He did it, I think, 2 days before.
So he did register.
Yes. Did you
know that Pierce was?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so he was supposed to run in 7, which is Lizzie Fletcher, but I guess they feel that this is because it's an uncontested.
They needed somebody with more stature.
Yes.
Well, it's interesting because. Go ahead, sir.
Just because we had been talking about, and is it
Rufi?
Rufi?
Yes.
Rufi.
Yes.
Because Rufi had been talking about how Texas is a non-voting state. So I personally found his message inspiring. You know, I've voted in every election I could, but also that he was finding immigrant citizens, and many times they were voting for the first time. Obviously the languages help. In that area or in any part of Houston, but could you speak on campaigns like his or his specific campaign and voter engagement? The first-time voters.
Thank you very much, caller. I'll let her answer while I put you offline, my friend. Thank you so kindly.
So yes, he did. He's mobilized a group of the population that has not come out to vote before because they just didn't feel like that their vote counted. So he's done a great job in that respect. And do I know of any other campaigns like that? Unfortunately, I am not. I'm very focused on Texas politics, so I only know of Shri Kulkarni that's been doing that. And like I said,
any other candidate though inside of what about you, John? You've seen any other candidate that's kind of super inspiring like Beto and Kulkarni? I interviewed Kulkarni about when he was running on the last race. Yeah. Anything, anybody can. It's like, oh my God, we need to get some inspiring folks.
I think Beto and Shri have been the most inspirational candidates
so far.
Yes.
Well, what's interesting though is I think some of that can grow on you. I mean, I don't know if you ever see sometimes you get somebody that's really inspiring talking to somebody, and then suddenly it's like it rubs off on them and they start. But anyhow, let me go to line 3. I don't have names here, so go ahead and just say hello, my name is, and then I'll know.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, I'm Rose.
Rose, talk to me, Rose.
Yeah, hi. This goes back to your brief discussion about Iran.
Yes, ma'am.
In the past, we've taken out a number of terrorists and rogue actors. It's not uncommon. But what's different this time is this man was a head of state.
Right.
Of a sovereign nation.
Yes.
And that's a little scary. I mean, he obviously bad actor, very, lots of blood on his hands from, many different directions. But when you start taking out a head of state, when you assassinate a head of state, that's a whole different ballgame.
You have changed the game, Rose. You have changed and you're so right about that. And that is what is scary.
He was supposed to have been the second in command of the country of Iran. So that's like our vice president.
Yes. I mean, it is scary that's what they did, right? Because again, that comes from Trump not having a lot of stairs. Yeah,
I mean, it's very foolish, and I think, he just has systematically shut down all kinds of diplomatic avenues.
Right.
And obviously, there, Iran has been the author of terrorism in many regions of the world, but I find it ironic that in some ways, if you think about it, Trump has put a bullseye on him and Pence and his high up.
I'm careful. I'm very, very, very careful. I got people throwing that stuff on my Facebook page, with this is a golf course and these are the targets. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, but, let's not play their game.
It seems foolish.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems very foolish.
It was Rose, you are, if I could say something over 100% correct, that's what you are.
Yeah.
But
so
look,
it's very concerning, and I sure don't want to see us rev up, war with Iran. That's just crazy.
It makes no sense. You know what? The problem about it is when Americans hear Iran and they hear Iraq, right?
Yeah.
What a lot of folks think is, Iraq is Iran, but here's the truth: it is not.
No.
Iran is a well-established society. It's a huge country.
Yes,
it's huge.
and highly technologically savvy.
Right. I think what they're going to hit, my gut, okay, I don't think they're going to hit. My gut is they're not going to hit militarily, more so I think they're going to hit us in electronically.
Sure. I mean, they've got so much skill and talent in that area.
Right. But anyhow, Rose, anything else you want to add before I go to the other call?
No, that's it.
Thank you so kindly, Rose.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go line numero uno. Come on in, say hello so I know who you are because I don't have a name.
Hey, good afternoon. This is Gary calling.
Gary, talk to me.
Hey, thanks for having the local people on. It's great. I just happened to watch a documentary last night called The Democracy Rebellion that was on Channel 8 TV last night, and it gave case studies from around the country of local activists doing a huge difference in the political scope. They make a huge difference. So I'm urging people to go out and vote. And, your vote is multiplied many times if you vote in an election where very people show up to vote, unfortunately. So go ahead and vote in the local elections. And thanks to these people for working hard to make Texas a better place.
It's a big thank you we have to give these folks because I tell you what you see that they're doing. These are different organizations that are out there. Look, in Harris County, man. Harris County is full of organizations that are stumping. I mean, yes, the party is doing their thing as well, but there are so many organizations that are out there doing their thing.
Exactly.
It is great. So we should have a great 2020 if we just keep it up. And if guys like you keep it up as well, make it reminding other folks of what we need to do, Gary.
Oh, yeah. The other quick thing is I was reading an article that was arguing based on some data that as politicians think most people are to the right side of the spectrum, and why is that? Because the only constituents they need to worry about are the corporations. So
it's interesting, Gary. I want to tell you, I did some research, right? And this research was based on policy. What are the individual policies that the American citizens want?
Yeah.
And all of these came north of 70%, which means it had to include quite a bit of Republicans, quite a bit of independents.
Yes.
And, when I write this at Daily Coast, they laugh at me. I always tell them America is a very progressive country.
I think the evidence supports
and they will be, no, look at how they vote. It's and how people self-describe. What the Powell Manifesto, right? What it allowed folks to do was to, in the way they infiltrated society,
yes,
they go ahead and allows you to be scared to say, I'm a liberal or I'm a progressive. So when the nice word to use is, I am a moderate. It makes you sound like it is almost, they want you to believe that says, I'm sane.
Well, politicians need to just understand their constituents are not just corporations.
Right.
And that and I agree with you, they completely overestimate the conservatism of the electorate. The electorate is not.
Well, I mean, I the truth of the matter is I live in Kingwood, a very red area, and I sit down, well, I don't go to Starbucks as much anymore, but I used to sit down in there for a long time. I speak to people over people. And I'll be honest with you, I've yet to meet a conservative.
Exactly.
Okay? Exactly. I've yet to meet one because we will sit down and converse. And by the time we're done conversing, it's like, you agree with all that stuff?
Well, that's great.
Rufi, you have something in your hand. You want to say something.
Oh, I just want to make a plug for important voting dates.
Please do.
Because it's really important. So like I mentioned earlier, the last day to register to vote is February the 3rd. The first day of early voting is February 18th. The last day of early voting is February 28th. I know people are not going to remember all of this, but y'all can go to to the website and look this up.
And that website is?
Yeah, you can go to the Secretary of State, or you can go to Ann Harris Bennett, or you can go to the Harris County Democratic Party. You can find this in many, many places. But the important thing to remember is this is the first election where we are not going to be able to do a
party voting.
Party vote.
Straight ticket
do not
voting.
have straight ticket voting. So everyone needs to remember they need to check all the boxes and not to undervote, which means that you have to go through every single page on the ballot and vote all the way down, because what's important is those
local
judges
races.
and the local races, they're all at the bottom of the ballot.
John, you want to repeat some of that for the people, because, man, that's important.
Well, what changed for the 2020 election in Texas? We used to be able to click one box and submit your ballot to vote straight party ticket, and that was taken away after the 2018 election. So this time, when you go vote, you gotta click every box for every person that you want to vote for, and you got to go clear to the bottom of the ballot, even if it's 140 boxes.
Do you know what's the largest ballot we've ever had?
I think this is going to be the largest ballot, is what I've heard. Yes, and Texas is going to have the largest ballot, I believe,
in the country.
In the country.
Wow! But you know what is so interesting too is that I understand that Texas is gaining more seats in 2021, like 3 seats or 2 or 3. How many?
I think they're saying 3 seats, but let's not forget the census. We haven't talked about that either.
Tell me a little bit about it.
Okay, so the census is coming up as well. And it's important, again, for everyone to get voted. Texas had a very bad undervote in the
last
census,
10-year
census. The last 10-year census. And people are afraid because the Republicans are
La migra.
Also, he threw out that question about asking about citizenship, which of course is not on the census. This is the first time the census is going to be done online for people that can answer it online. But people don't make the connection between why they need to be counted, because that's where the federal dollars come from. So
and that also will determine our cut in in the House of Representatives.
Yes.
So look, let me first say, Senor John Cotter, it was my pleasure having you here. It was great for you, what you guys are doing. And Rufi, muchísimas thank you for what you do. And let me just tell you for real, we wouldn't be here without the work that you all do. So, I mean, we all have to be in awe of that work. That is some very important work. So thank you so kindly for doing that. Keep multiplying yourselves. I mean, that we need that more than anything. You know what they say, geometric progression. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you know how I end this baby, right? 2, 1, I'm out.